Hey everybody, welcome to the G3 Boardroom, and I hope you're having a great 2025. If you're watching this right after the holidays, hope you had a great holiday. If you're watching this after the Super Bowl, hey, how about them Lions?
Yeah, you just jinxed them.
And if you're watching this in April, boy, it sucks that big asteroid is heading toward the Earth and is going to destroy us all.
Don't look up.
Go asteroid.
Today we're going to be talking about the best games that we played in 2024.
Now, these are not necessarily games that came out in 2024.
No.
They're just games that we were enjoying over this last year.
I like this game called Trouble. It was crazy. I mean, this game was so fun. I'd never heard of it before.
Now listen to this man. Listen to this man.
Well, sorry, probably would have wrapped up the whole theme of 2025, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So the games might have come out a little bit earlier, but most of the games that we played in 2024 came out in 2024. So we're going to run down like some of our favorites, and we'll see how that matches up with your top 10 list of favorite games that you played in 2024.
You want Bob to go first?
Let's have Bob go
Let's
first.
have Bob.
Boy.
Number 10.
All right, number 10.
And these are in no particular order. Let's say it that way. No particular order.
Yeah, so I guess this isn't a tier list. Sorry if you're looking for a tier list.
You can pretend.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, do it.
Number 10 was The Gang.
The gang.
The Gang.
The gang.
A different turn on Texas Hold'em, where you're actually playing cooperatively rather than against each other without talking.
It's a fun game even if you aren't a big poker player, but I gotta say if you are a Texas Hold'em player, then this game's a lot more fun. Because trying to teach someone how to play poker and then kind of unteach the poker and for them to learn the gang, I think is a little bit weird. But as three longtime Texas Hold'em players, we had a blast with this game.
I think we though talked in the review that it would be a good way for people to learn to play poker.
Yeah,
because it teaches you the hierarchy of the hands and whatnot.
I guess that's kind of a lot of stuff just to learn the hierarchy of hands.
That's true.
Well, it's both. I think it actually is an excellent Texas Hold'em tutorial. But you are going to spend a lot more time teaching with a person who has never played any Texas Hold'em or does not understand poker at all. If you sit down with people who've played Texas Hold'em, it's intuitive. There's a couple different things that you do, and you don't fold, you don't bluff.
Right, yeah.
But no, it's a very good game. I like it a lot, and I've played it with 3 all the way up to 6. I like it at 6. It runs well at 6.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I've played it with people who have never played poker, and it also comes with the hierarchy of hands card, which is very useful for people who've never played poker. But no, it's a good one. It's also cheap. I mean, we're talking less than $30 for that game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty good. My only complaint about the gang is the deck of cards they give you, you're probably going to end up replacing.
Yeah.
So other than that, you win. And you get a card that makes things a little harder. You lose, you get a card that makes things a little bit easier. But it's all done. You put your hands in order from 1 to however many players you have, all without talking. Yep. We like games where I don't got to talk to you guys.
Yeah, it was a fun one. Well, more fun with, like you said, 6 people.
It's good at 6.
Yeah.
It's good at 3, it's good at 6.
Number 9, Acropolis. This is like a city building tile game. I thought was a lot of fun. I kind of enjoy these like the city building tile games. I like some of the mechanics in this game, and I like that as you build up, your score goes up too. So
yeah, so that was a little addition to normal tile drafting games, which was kind of nice. A little bit of different mechanic and a little variety than the
table
standard.
space. I don't know how many times we've
There
played
we go.
Carcassonne, where it's like, slide everything down.
I think I made a comment, though, that I wanted to play a piece over here that was dangling off the table. I was going to have to hold it up with my knee.
Yeah. You want a little table put right next to it. I like Acropolis, too. It's a good game. And again, you're drafting tiles that are color-coded. The key rule to keep in mind in this game is it actually doesn't matter how many of the same color you have. If you have no scoring tile to go with it, you're getting nothing.
Yeah.
So you need those scoring tiles, and that is the one that makes this a little bit tricky for players to learn. Is they'll start gathering up all these pieces and they won't have the scoring tile for it. So go for the scoring tiles, and then your 3-4 can become 6, 8, 10, 12, etc. But it's a good game. I like it quite a bit. I like the building up factor, gives you more points. I think that's interesting. Although I think we were talking about it, I don't think we've ever made it past. I think the highest anybody's ever gone is the 3rd level. No one goes past it. It becomes too much.
That game goes quick.
It does go quick,
It
too.
goes kind of fast to be able to do that.
Yeah.
It's not just that. It's just the base you would have to have in order to build up to the 3rd level.
And the perfect draws, too.
Yeah, you need the draws to go with it.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting game. It's good enough. Again, it's on the cheaper side. But if you like tile drafting games, if you like games where you get a nice point salad at the end, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, that's one of those games where I always do badly because I'm trying to chase, what direction am I going to go to get points? And I'm always, second place in all the, in all those directions.
Is it a paralysis through analysis kind of thing?
Yeah.
Might be,
Well, some of those you can build yourself into a corner and then you're stuck.
yeah.
You could.
So.
But no, I like that one quite a bit. It's a good one. Pick that up. That's a good one. Okay, number 8. Psychic pizza deliverers go to the ghost town.
He got it right the first time.
I always get it right. This guy, not so much. Well, psychic pizza deliverers go to the ghost town. You're playing on a map. You have no idea where you're going. There's a person who does have the map. They're the mayor of the town. Everybody else is the psychic pizza deliverer. And they're trying to find the pizza and then trying to get the right pizza to the right house in order to win. They make their move, and then the mayor of the town calls out things that might be around them with limited information. So you're all on this map. And what I like about this game, it just becomes a laugh riot. People bump into one another. People step on the teleporter and you basically have to restart your game. You end up on a teleporter. It's a lot of fun. It can be chaotic when you have 4 people wandering around the town. We had an interesting idea for the video on this one. We did make a video of it, but the original idea I had in mind was I was going to be off camera just like shouting things from the beyond, from the ether. I enjoyed that game.
It was different than our normal board games and tabletop games. It was, to me, it seemed more like a kind of like a D&D with a dungeon master kind of feel to it.
Say the same thing. Yeah.
But there was a lot more rigidness to the maps and stuff like that. And I guess when I first played it, I was a little misunderstanding of the rules, and if you actually walk through a house, you didn't, as the GM or the DM, you didn't have to tell us that we actually walked through a house. And the way if we moved, it just for me, I was a little confused, but that's really just
That's not uncommon.
no, and that's not against the game at all by any means. It was just an interpretation of the rules.
Yeah, it was interesting and it was fun. Usually we play these games with 3 people. We brought on a 4th for that one because of the sort of the dungeon master, the game master role. And I think that 4 people for that game is awesome. And it was cool. It's like the idea of we're all kind of like ghosts wandering around. And it's interesting that you can't see anything. You don't know where you're going. You don't see the town. So that was a very fun aspect of it.
The interesting thing too was on a review for that, you're playing as the psychic pizza deliverers, and somebody, and I think it might have been Bob, said, "What if we're the ghosts?" And it became like this existential kind of thing,
More like a Sixth Sense kind of twist to it.
Right.
We're the ghosts, and these are people we're walking into. Because Bob was like, "You can't just walk through a house." And you're right.
Yeah. That's right.
Mind blown.
Number 7 is one of my favorite games, Planet Unknown. The thing I like most about this game is that it's got this Lazy Susan with like 6 positions on it, because the most you can play in the game is 6, and whoever is the active player, they spin the thing until their little section is facing them. Then everyone else is stuck with the section that is facing them.
Well, to be fair, you don't spin it. You rotate it to where you want. If you spin it, pieces are gonna go.
True.
See, the inner DJ, he just wants to do that.
That's right.
Check out the Planet Unknown short.
Yeah.
That's the fun game. I like that.
Yeah.
I like the game. I like the building up, and you got your different tracks, and there's different ways to win. But it's really for some reason the Lazy Susan is sort of like what does it for me.
Well, it was a new mechanic into a tile drafting game that I've never seen before. So that was.
You know, without that lazy Susan, it is actually pretty bog standard tile draft game. But it just somehow makes it. You're right. It somehow makes it more fun. And the game ends when you run out of tiles in a certain spot.
Yeah, because definitely that's kind of more of a gotcha. You can actually, because everybody's playing. You're not technically playing against each other. It's kind of a race. So in a way, you can kind of, if you're lagging behind, that's a strategy you can use. You could put it where you know the next player is not going to get a good draft of a tile.
Or you could just go for the lowest, the lowest stack and just end the game quicker.
That's true.
Yeah. It's one of those games where you can choose the time that it ends, and that's part of the strategy for it too. And it's kind of funny because we're all sitting here talking about this, and I know we're all imagining lazy Susans. I like this game too. The only problem I actually have with it is since turns in this game take place simultaneously. Mm-hmm. And the problem with that is if you play with people of questionable moral code, and then you're moving a whole bunch of stuff on your card, and maybe I have 3 more than I had before. So you don't want to play with jerks, but I say that pretty much every video.
Or just people that just don't know what they're doing, but think they know what they're doing, and they might have misinterpreted a rule, and so
accidents happen. Some people are knobs. So
yes,
I could be a jerk, but at least I'm an honest jerk.
But no, Planet Unknown is a pretty good one. I think it comes in. I think it retails around $80.
Something like that. I think it's worth it. It's there's enough heft to the game to justify that.
At $80, I got to be honest. That's probably mid-level at this point.
For sure.
So $80 is not too much to ask. You get a lot out of the game. I like it quite a bit. It's a good one. I know there's also an expansion for it. It's called Supermoon. Which was a different game I used to play when I was a teenager. But beside the points, and you wouldn't pay $80 for it. So
those were free.
But Planet Unknown, that's a good one. I like it a lot.
It reminds me of the movie Waiting.
Oh yeah,
a similar game. In there.
Number 6.
6. Add the reverb.
Yeah. We don't have the budget for special effects that would do that. We got to do it ourselves. All right, so number 6, Red Dragon Inn. Now, Red Dragon Inn is a little bit of an older game, but I played a lot of it this year. I really like this game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
What you have here is you have a card, and one side is your health and one side is your alcohol content, let's just say. You lose health, you gain alcohol content, and when the two meet, you pass out drunk, you get thrown out of the bar, you're out of the game. And in return, you're taking a drink, you're buying drinks for other people. And the characters are all unique. Now, out of the box, you have some unique characters, but then they have expansion on top of expansion on top of expansion. At this point, there's like 40 or 50 characters. And you can play this game with 40 or 50 people. Now, we did try to play it with, I think we had
like 10, 12.
Oh, I think we had more than 12.
Really?
It was between 15 and 20.
Oh, wow.
But the game broke down.
Oh, yeah. Some people didn't even get a turn.
People at the end of the table didn't even get a turn. I would say the top end on this one is 6. That's the most you can probably do.
Yeah.
We played it with 3 on the channel. We still had fun, but it's a more communal game.
Yeah.
It's
our favorite
game without drinks.
Right, it's our favorite game about drinking.
It's not a drinking game, it's a game about drinking.
But it's kind of funny too because we're not big drinkers here, but the game can be played almost as a real drinking game.
It probably could. Oh, the other lose condition is if you run out of money, they throw you out of the bar.
Yeah, so you can't pay your tab.
Art reflects life.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's a good game. Like I said, I find all the characters are unique. All the characters do something special. There's a lot of reading in the game, and so if you're playing with new players who don't like to read, there's some cards that have paragraphs of stuff on it, and that can be a little rough for entry level people. But it is a fun and entertaining game.
And most of that was just kind of lore, though, wasn't it?
Some of the ones, especially the ones with like the barmaid on there.
Oh, okay.
There's like a paragraph of stuff you got to read. It's like punch Bob in the eye, and then take Jason's lunch money.
Some of those you need like a magnifying glass.
Right, and we're middle-aged guys here, so that becomes an issue too.
It's a funny game, sort of like Munchkin. It's the premise is these adventurers, they go off and do their Dungeons and Dragons adventure, but then they all come back to town and they're all hanging out at the Red Dragon Inn, and so I like games that sort of I don't know what peek behind the curtain of the adventurers or whatever from other games, I guess.
And in your experience, when you had those 10 to 12 people, those weren't all gamers, and they picked it
Right.
up pretty easily.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
you
very
know.
so.
But the gamers who were at the end of the lineup who didn't get to play, I hear about this all the time. All the time. And we played it with that many people. It was at my last birthday,
Yeah.
which is in February. Happy birthday to me. And so we're recording this in January. So people have been crabbing at me for quite literally 11 months. The other interesting thing about Red Dragon is you buy the base box and then the expansions. It was expansion number 5 was a huge expansion. Came with a great big box, all kinds of organizational stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what it did was they included all of the dividers and the things for all the previous characters. So you didn't necessarily need those. Here's the box. And then they've kept up with it. So all the expansions after it also include the dividers that go into that box.
And the box
So
even
supporting those.
accommodated sleeves too, didn't it?
Unfortunately, it's slightly off.
Oh, okay.
It's a little tight with the sleeves, but it is a good box. It's a great storage solution because let's face it, any game like this, like Red Dragon Inn, multiple expansions, card game, or your Marvel Legendaries, Marvel Champions, any game that's like that, you are eventually going to need some sort of storage solution.
Yeah.
And so they created their own, and they're supporting it still. And so I give them a lot of credit for it. So,
Very
yeah, it's a good one.
Okay, at number 5. Table 5. Table 5. Slay the Spire. This one came out this year. It was actually available at Gen Con. I think that's how we got our copy,
Yeah.
didn't we? Yeah.
So when we say available at Gen Con,
Barely. And it's based on the video game Slay the Spire. It's a cooperative game where you go up levels or through kind of a dungeon.
that's kind of a choose your own adventure. You can kind of choose your own
and you
path.
defeat enemies on the way up. Very, very heavy game. Lots of pieces to that one. But once you kind of got into the rhythm and you understood it, I thought it was a really good game.
I think it's a good game as well. Bob's not joking. It is a huge game. The box is easily a toe
Yeah.
breaker.
I had to carry it around like
Bob
half
had
the
to
damn
haul
Gen Con.
around, put it on his back like a Sherpa.
It got a lot of stares for people going,
Oh yeah, carrying it through Gen Con. Yeah,
because
yeah,
it was a
yeah.
hot item. So
Attract a lot of aggression.
yes,
A lot of
yeah.
It is a lightning rod of hate.
But no, Slay the Spire, it's a good one. I like it a lot. My only complaint about it is really this: the game. It's an expensive game.
Yeah, it was.
And when you have the very expensive game here and the very affordable PC game there,
Or free if you have the certain plus membership.
yeah, you know, it's you have to want to play it as a tabletop game. You really got to want it. But I like it quite a bit. Again, you have 4 different characters. All the characters do something different. They all operate a little bit differently. On our playthrough on the channel, Jason took like the assassin, the poisoner guy.
yeah.
You know, Bob had the brute. You know, just straight up
Bullet shield.
straight up meat shield. You know, smack you in the head guy. And I had a little bit more manipulation to do with mine. I had the defect.
Yeah.
He's called. He's kind of like a
Magic.
kind of like a midway wizard kind of thing. But they all do something unique. They all do something special. They all have their own decks. And then when you're doing improvements, you got a stack of stuff that's just unique to your guy. And so you're playing cooperatively, but you're all playing a different game. You're not going to encounter anything that are similar other than the basic stuff: attack, defend. This
So
thing
not
like
a lot
that.
of quarterbacking
Yeah.
because everyone has their own decks. And stuff. I never played the video game, but I really enjoyed the board game.
And if you're into quests, I mean, we only played Act 1, so there's 3 plus another one after that, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there's certain criteria you have to reach in order to play beyond that. And there's like the big boss of
but
bosses.
as you were saying, as you were building your deck and upgrading, those upgrades go on to the next act, which
Absolutely.
is, so it's a, can't think of the word, but kind of a cumulative gaming experience.
Yeah.
So it's something that, you could continue on with your friends or family, play one night a week, and get through the acts in like a month and a half or 2 or something.
I have no friends. But yeah, this one is it's on the pricey end. I cut you off. You're about to say something.
No, I was going to say something hurtful about not having any friends.
Oh.
Well, we also got the the first edition or the special
We got the
edition.
collector's
edition. So it
Yeah.
had all the metal coins
We
and
had-
stuff like
Oh,
that.
We had
yeah.
some special stuff.
So
in there.
I'm not sure what the price would be on the standard edition. Considerably cheaper, I would think.
Oh, I don't know,
Not
but it's
that much.
it's definitely on the higher end.
Still, okay.
Yeah. I would guess it's over 150 easily.
Oh, okay.
So
Our number 4 game is Life in Reterra. This is one that we actually played with the Dized app.
it was Terra before.
Yes,
the Reterra.
before. This game was a lot of fun. Jason had the most fun because he got to curl garbage onto Bob with the Yardapolt all game.
I kept calling it the Yardapult, and then when I watched the video again, it was the farm that did that. So you had some type of special card, well, whatever the flavor text on the.
Yeah.
Not the flavor
Every
text.
time I did something, I was able to fling a piece of garbage
Yeah.
onto.
That knocked me out.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
That
I-
was the
I-
game winner for you.
I believe I won that game handily. This person also played, but
Well, you never had any relics, so you never had to throw them. So I got all that attention on that.
yeah. But this is again, it's a tile drafting game, and you're building your Reterra, your post civilization.
Yeah,
You're rebuilding
post-apocalyptic,
Yeah, you're rebuilding your civilization. There's different buildings you get that do different things for the score at the end. But the one we're specifically referring to, it was every time I played a building, I believe I got to throw a piece of trash onto somebody
Yeah.
adjacent to me's plot. Well, the strategy Jay was employing that wouldn't have damaged him. The strategy Bob was employing, it hurt him quite
Yeah.
a bit.
Now, when you say post-apocalyptic, it's not like the Wall-E world. It's more like,
Nuclear apocalypse, post-apocalypse, or
I mean, that-
breakdown in civilization, I
I
guess.
guess, yeah. Not exactly. I have to refresh my memory on the flavor text of that game, but the artwork and everything is not like a wasteland that you're
Yeah,
starting
I was
fresh. It's
gonna
almost
make a
like
comment. Yeah.
you know, a lot of time has passed since civilization, was kind of beaten into the Stone Age.
I don't think that's the important thing about the game.
I'm trying to set the tone for the people because,
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic is a much different vision than
That was actually a comment I was going to make. It's more of kind of a positive kind of attitude towards it rather than like a Mad Max style game where you're like battling like mercenaries out in the desert wasteland or something like that. It was you're
definitely-
building up this civilization, you're building it back.
Yes.
Really the only time it was competitive, against each other is of course when you were throwing
Throwing
garbage.
garbage.
I would have sent mercenaries to kill you as well.
Yeah. Well, again, we were playing only kind of like the first level of that one, so maybe there were more kind of offensive things later in the game that we didn't get a chance to
But
play.
you're building things like farms and schools. You're not building, weapons,
Artillery.
factories and
Did we
artillery.
get, I don't know. We didn't get that far, really. We really only played like the first level.
I am certain there's no artillery.
Okay, no artillery. Maybe there's like raids across the borders or something. I don't know.
Unlikely.
Unlikely. Okay, all right. Let's give it a hope for the people that like that kind of stuff. Okay.
What do you find in the games with that stuff?
Yeah.
I think Life in Reterra, it retails for less than $50. I enjoyed it. It was fun, and plus it's always fun to fling trash at your friends. I mean, who doesn't like to do that? But he's still hurt.
I guess I wouldn't know. He had fun though. He was like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah. Number three. And number 3, we got My Father's Work. Now, it's like my favorite game. I really like this game. You play a Dr. Frankenstein type. Frankenstein. And you conduct experiments. You make choices that impact, you have a manor, you make choices that impact the town. It's played over 3 generations. So you basically play the game, you do your thing, and then you lose most everything you had. The town progresses, things continue to happen there, but you are now the next generation, so you're starting over. You're allowed to carry very little forward. The game it's also handled in a little bit of a humorous manner, and so some of the experiments are like cure for hair loss.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The flavor text was pretty cool there.
And And there's like a tracker too for like how creepy you are to
Yeah.
townspeople. So every time you do these weird experiments, you start to arouse suspicion.
It would negatively affect you. Yes.
Started to be creepy, and then the mob will like show up at your
Yeah, because it was like the track had
trackers.
it was a combining or convening or
A
jeez.
convergence of the
Converging.
trackers.
But the decisions you make impact the town as you go forward. It's an app-driven game as well, and
that's right, yeah.
all the story is there in the app. There are 3 stories in the box that have 8 endings apiece, and so you've got a lot of replay in there. The game is I would say on the high mid for expense. I think you can probably pick it up for like $120. The pieces in it though were absolutely premium. They're really nice.
And this was like a base game. You didn't have like a Kickstarter or anything.
I just bought it straight off Renegade Games.
Okay.
But yeah, it really is a quality game. I like this game a lot. I can't stress enough. You should go pick it up. They'll never make an expansion for it because, like I said, it's app driven. They'd have to put all that work behind it as well.
There's kind of a lot of the rep that preceded this game was that set aside 3 days to play this game. It wasn't that bad.
We played it in a night, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, we divided our playthrough into three parts, and I think it was an hour for the longest part. We cut out a little bit, when we were sitting here, going into the tank thinking about stuff. But
with people who know, you can probably go through each generation in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
With people who know how to play. And so, I mean, you're really looking at a little bit more than 2 hours probably to get through the whole thing. But again, since it's in 3 generations, you also have natural stopping points. So you could play, hey, I'm just going to play the first generation today, and then we'll play the second generation next time we get together.
Or breaks for pizza.
Yeah. I do like breaks for pizza.
Yeah.
It's very important, especially with psychic pizza delivery.
Yeah, making a Sunday.
and I like this game because I just like the idea of, your relative was this mad scientist, and you inherited the house or something, and you find their little book, and you discover their lab, and you kind of decide, I'm gonna continue my father's work, which is right there in the title.
And it is point based, but the other thing is everyone also received what's called their master work. This is what they're working towards. The experiments are ABC. And then you have to get a certain amount of everything in order to do your master work. And I think people playing this game, you probably achieve your master work. I would say probably, assuming you know what you're doing, assuming you're a little bit more well-versed in the game, you probably achieve your master work about 75% of the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least, I think one of us finished it in the second act, didn't we?
I don't know about that. I think
Or
it was
second generation.
It might have been the early 3rd generation on our videos.
Okay.
I don't think we finished in the 2nd generation.
Yeah, all I do know is that to win this game, you have to be highly superior mentally than the people you're playing with.
I have a feeling, I can't quite remember who won, but I have a feeling that's what he's commenting about.
I think he probably remembers wrong. Or he won by like 1 point.
It's still a win.
I think I did. I was thinking as you guys were talking, I think I did actually win this one.
Yeah?
And I think it was pretty close too.
Doesn't sound right to me. That sounds unnatural. I won't live in a world where they win games.
And being on the channel, I think that was my kind of first exposure in a long time to worker placement games.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yep. So that was kind of interesting. It was a new mechanic for me to learn.
That's important to cover too. It is a worker placement game. You're sending your people out from your manor into the town, and that's also where the creepiness comes in. If you're creepy enough, the only place you can go is the church to apologize, essentially.
Yeah, because one of the big ones for resources was to go dig up body parts in the cemetery.
Which is creepy. And no one can argue with that. So.
I love games that are a little bit macabre. So, that's just a fun one,
Yeah, it's a good one. But, all the pieces, again, they're high quality. You got like gears and like little bottles with corks in them and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but like
definitely.
actual little corks that go.
But for the digging up of bodies, it's just a little piece of wood that's shaped like a coffin.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if there was, it was like some grotesqueness or something.
What I like about that is that it gives you an opportunity because you get these vials with little cork that is clear plastic that you can put stuff in that if you want.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that
Seal it up.
I would love to see pictures of people or let us know down in the comments if you have this game. I'd love to see examples of the cool things that people have done in their setup.
Somebody on Etsy's done something, I promise you.
Yeah, or put some kind of little, different little materials in each one. It'd be cool. It's a fun way to customize the game.
Mm-hmm.
Our number 2 game of the games we played in 2024, we enjoyed the most, is Cosmoctopus.
Cosmoctopus.
This game was sort of my white whale from Gen Con a few Gen Cons ago. We won't get into that, but
oh yes, we will.
This game's just a lot of fun. All hail Cosmoctopus.
All hail Cosmoctopus. Okay, I'm getting into it. So what happens at Gen Con is you sign up for multiple events. You then go play the games for the events you signed up for. And my friend Jay's pet peeve is when you go and play a game, you like it, and they don't have any there for you to purchase.
No.
And so, was it 2 years ago?
That might have been 2 Gen Cons ago.
Two Gen Cons ago.
It really just hit the, it was after that it kind of hit the mass market.
So 2 Gen Cons ago, we play this, and it's the take my money thing, and they didn't have anything to take.
I was wandering around with a handful of money. Who wants my money? Please take my money. Please take my money. And no.
It was a thing, and by the way, it also happened to you for Planet Unknown.
And I get it. These game manufacturers don't want to bring, 5 truckloads of games to Gen Con to sell them up. But how about maybe a free shipping? Like if you would have been there to purchase a game, you wouldn't have had to pay shipping. How about maybe throw us a little bone as a purchaser, and maybe give us like a coupon or voucher for free shipping, because if we buy it there at Gen Con, I'll wait a little bit. I don't have to go home with the game, but if I want to buy it, what kind of... I just don't understand a business model where it's like, no, don't give us your money. No.
He was bitter about it for a while.
I heard about it on the whole drive down.
No. All right, so
I wasn't going to talk about it. I was not going to talk about it.
No, it must be talked about. I have much more to say about it, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Cosmoctopus.
Look, we're talking about how great of a game Cosmoctopus is. And
it's
a super fun game, and we love playing it. And we played it with, I think, 3 or more. I'm not really sure what the sweet spot is, but we've never played it with a number of people where it's like, oh, this is broken to this number. So it's 3 people is fine, 4 or 5, whatever is fine.
And I would describe Cosmoctopus as an engine builder more than anything else. There's a star field. You move your guy around the star field, and you collect the things that it says on the specific spot that you land. But then you're gathering cards and you're building your engine. So I have this many of this resource, this many of the red resource, this many of the yellow resource, and then you use those, and you're summoning the Cosmoctopus. You summon his tentacles into your area, and then once you get to 8, you win. And so you can come up with some pretty sick combos in this game too. Some of the cards are... I don't think anybody play tested this game. By that I mean it's like, this is overpowered. Hey, wait, this is overpowered. Hey, wait, that's overpowered.
But, the few times that we played it, it was never, that a big difference in scoring or, because it was pretty close every time we played.
When you get to 8, it's not like, the winner has 100. So it's a little bit harder to tell. Like if the winner has 8 and 2 other people have 6, is that close or not?
Because the last time we played it, I was about ready to win, and you drew just the right card. So I could have won in one more hand. But it happens.
So this is a game that I always try to win quickly. I'm always going for the quick, tentacle. So I always jump out ahead to 3, but then I don't have an engine. Well, these guys have been working on their engine.
Then he ends the game 10-3.
Pretty much.
It is an engine builder, and engine builders are things I don't tend to excel at. But this one, for whatever reason, I really like it. Again, summoning the Cosmoctopus is a unique thing. And not only that, when we went to Gen Con this last year in 24 and actually managed to buy the game, we also got the Cosmoctopus plushie.
Yeah, that was really nice. It was really, really, really cute. It's around here.
And correct me if that's why you probably see the video. I looked back to see if it was there.
It was up on one of our shelves when we did.
But it's also based on Lovecraftian mythology, right? Kind of.
You could easily say that.
Okay, yeah. Maybe I'm looking too much into it.
But no, Cosmoctopus, I think it retails. It's less than $40, and it's fun enough that it is worth it. There will come, like I said, my only problem with cards being overpowered, and again, there's enough of them that they get spread out, so you don't feel like you're getting beat up too bad. But my problem with games where things seem overpowered, looking over here, and this guy is like, man, that was a sick card. And sometimes when things are overpowered like that, even though it's balanced, you feel like you can't overcome it.
Yeah.
That's
also
my
nice-
concern with that.
It's also nice because it speeds the game up a little bit.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know,
does.
this
It
game
does.
is-
It's a quick
This game
game.
is fun because it's relatively quick, but it's not super light.
I think
It's really
yeah.
in a good sweet spot of a good tabletop game that I really enjoy because it doesn't take that long to learn, but there are rules. It doesn't take that long to play, but it is enough to be substantial. It's not like a 5-minute game.
No, I think it's about an hour. I think you can probably clear it in about an hour.
Was it an
Yeah,
hour? I thought we cleared in about 30, 40
I
minutes
thought it was
the
a
last
little
time we
less.
played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like it moved
Yeah.
quickly.
It felt like eternity because Bob was whooping me. And I don't like that neither. Until the end, and then I
Yeah.
won.
Yeah.
Snuck from behind. All right, at number one, in no particular order, remember? We had
Number one in no particular order.
Tesseract. This game was, it's been a while since I played, but I thought it was really unique because we had the cube and you had to pull dice off the cube.
There was a manual dexterity aspect to it.
There was, definitely. And for us old guys who might have the shakes,
And what's funny is that the game does not address what happens if the Tesseract
And you just
Just
knock it
knock it
falls
over.
over. You knock it
Yeah.
over. Just can't find that in the rules.
It was a major concern for us, and
Yeah.
yet it's
Yeah.
not addressed anywhere.
but the good thing is the dice weren't like, they were well made, they were heavier, so it wouldn't just like a breath would knock it over at
Yeah.
least.
They
So
were like cardboard dice you
Yeah.
have to fold up.
Yeah, but with that in mind, you also can't play with the younger set. That
That's
thing is
true.
going over with the younger set.
Yeah.
It just there is a premium set that you can get. Those dice are metal.
Metal,
Yeah. But the premium set costs more than the actual game. So it's like, yeah, I'll just go with the game.
Yeah.
But you're right. It has table presence. If you see someone playing this and you don't know what it is, you will stop and say, "What the heck are you playing?"
yeah,
And it was from. There was a brief period there where there are a lot of games coming out that had this table presence kind of thing. Like the Spill is another good example. Spill is a pretty basic game, but you got this huge dice tower in the center.
Right.
And so people see it like, what the heck is this
Yeah.
thing? Well, that's what it is. But Tesseract is a really interesting game. You put down different, depending on how difficulty you want, you put down different things in the center that have your setup, and then you're taking dice off of this, and I really enjoyed it. It's an interesting game that I would like to play a lot more of. Again, retail on this one is probably less than $50. It's definitely worth your time. Again, just to show the table presence off. Look at my big.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
cue the flashback video. I'm not gonna take the blame.
I ain't doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. We're lucky we didn't knucklehead the thing over more than once, because you end up with the stack is real high and it's been undermined.
And you don't know how difficult it is to remove a dice from a pile of dice. It's like, well, I was playing like, pickup sticks or Jenga or something.
yeah.
But when you're trying to reach in there, it's
Big fat fingers and thumbs
well,
too.
we're
Not
not,
the easiest.
we're not brain surgeons over here.
Yeah.
I think that's obvious, or it should be.
Yeah.
But no, Tesseract is definitely enjoyable. Again, it's good. It's a good one at 3 or 4 players. I like it quite a bit, and it's colorful too.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
really is. It's colorful.
Yeah, it's
Table
interesting.
presence.
That's part of that table
pretty.
presence. Looks nice to play and it's
It's
fun.
now I
To
want to play it. It's on the shelf. I think it lives at my house actually.
So, Bob, what's your favorite game out of the 10 that we talked about? We'll tier list this a little bit here with just our favorite games.
Well, do we have any honorable mentions?
Well, if
No.
your
Okay.
favorite,
I think my father's work, like that was my first experience with the worker placement. And first seeing it, all the pieces, I was a little intimidated, but I caught on pretty well. And me, I haven't had as much experience with the games as you both have. But I felt like I held my own in it. And and it's got a lot of replayability, I think, with all the different stories and stuff. So
It does. You know, and you're absolutely right. It's a good game, and you do pick it up quick. And don't sell yourself short.
yeah,
You know, don't sell yourself short. You're a clever guy.
yeah. Thank you.
A little bit gullible. Why don't you go, Jay? Talk about Planet Unknown.
You know, it might not be Planet Unknown. I think that
It's fine.
out of the games that we talked about, if you have the right group of people, I think the game is one of my favorites. A lot of fun. If you play it with other people, like if you get together with your poker group that you've played with for a long time, and you all know poker, you all know how each other's play poker. I think that one could be a lot of fun. Now, if you're just going to, get kind of a random group of people that might not, know each other, I would think that maybe Red Dragon Inn would probably be my favorite. So I said
Cool.
two.
There
I
you
said
go.
two. Do I have to narrow it down to one? I think I'd say the game.
Gang is very good. I like it,
Yeah.
and it's really fast.
Yeah, that's true.
It can go really fast. You can play multiple games of that in one evening. But yeah, it's a really good one. I like it a lot. And now they've taken all mine off of here. And so Bob knew I was going to take My Father's Work. It's
Well,
like
you can say My
favorite.
Father's
Well, I
Work.
don't want to say it. I don't want to go original. I do have an honorable mention. I'm going to honorably mention Matrix Legendary Encounters. I like it quite a bit. You play through the movies. I just really like the Legendary system. I like Legendary Marvel. I like Legendary Big Trouble in Little China. I like Legendary Alien Encounters. I like them all. And so and Legendary Bond as well. Bond is fantastic. But Legendary Matrix was the most recent one to come out. It's done very well. That one's definitely worth looking up. But my only problem with that one is it is a deck builder. It is a card game, and they have the nerve to charge you $80. It's expensive for a card game. It's a lot. Off our list of stuff we talked about, I'm actually going to go with Psychic Pizza. Psychic Pizza Deliverers Go to the Ghost Town. The reason why I'm going to go with that is because I love playing as the mayor and laughing at people who are just stumbling blindly and not able to. I just go, no, dummy, no, dummy. That it just makes me laugh, and I think that's what you can take from most of the things on our list here. Are games where if you play with the right group of people, they're just a lot of laughs. It's a lot of fun.
I was never the mayor in that game, but it's fun just sort of bumbling around too, because you kind of map out. You have a paper and you're mapping out this town as you're stumbling around until you go into
The teleport.
Like the teleport. And it's like, okay, you're somewhere else now.
I had a little bit of trouble with like the rules and stuff like that, but it's a very sociable game.
Yeah.
Because you're chatting with other folks, and at one point, we had Jeff. He was like, "Oh, I know where you're at," and it didn't click for me right away. So I'm like, "What? What? How do you know where I'm at? And I don't know where I'm at.
I don't even know where I'm at."
Because I went into the teleporter. Like I was the first one to hit the teleporter, and I was just like wandering around aimlessly.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing, and I can't stress this enough. This is our list of things that we played that we enjoyed this year. But you have to enjoy the people you're playing with. You enjoy the people you're playing with, you're already ahead of the game, and then all these things will fit in there. Red Dragon Inn is a lot of laughs. The game isn't a lot of laughs, but you play with the right group of people, and it is. Red Dragon Inn is funny because it's funny.
Right.
So, but My Father's Work, again, it's just a solid game. It's so much fun. It's so well done, and it's clear.
Probably the heaviest game of the ones.
I think Slay the Spire is the heaviest game on here. But My Father's Work, it's clear to me that My Father's Work was like the love project of some designer
Passion project,
who got into enough power that he's like, we're gonna make my game. And I'm thankful for it. It's fantastic. So, but I would suggest anything on here, and I think we came up with some games that were more on the affordable side. You could probably pick up every one of these and still have some room in your wallet.
Hopefully.
Save Slay the Spire for last. It's pricey.
If you played any of these games, or if you have any that you think that were grossly omitted, let us know down in the comments.
Egregious.
Egregiously omitted. And go ahead and like and subscribe. That'd be great. We'd love that. And we'll see you next time.